Let's begin tonight in the US, where Special Counsel Robert Mueller has won a significant victory in the first trial arising from his investigation into Russia's role in the 2016 election. After almost 4 days of deliberations, a 12-member jury found Trump's campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, guilty on 2 counts of bank fraud, 5 counts of tax fraud, and 1 charge of failing to disclose foreign bank accounts. That was in Virginia. At the same time in New York, something that may be even more problematic for the president was taking place. Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, was pleading guilty to campaign finance violations and other charges. Now, the name Trump was not heard in that courtroom. Cohen himself said a candidate directed him to act. But Cohen's lawyer was not so subtle. Donald Trump directed him to commit a crime by making payments to 2 women for the principal purpose of influencing an election, Lanny Davis said. In short, as the BBC's North America editor Jon Sopel told me, Mueller's case is starting to really mount.
Well, what we have had stated in court as part of the guilty plea by Michael Cohen, and remember, Michael Cohen is the long-standing lawyer to Donald Trump, Mr. Fix-It. He was a vice chair of the Republicans' campaign committee, so he's a big player. And he has said in court that he broke campaign law in coordination with and at the direction of a candidate for federal office, brackets, the president. So in saying that, he is saying that he was acting as a co-conspirator to Donald Trump and therefore to win an election and misinform the public. Now, that, of course, is very, very difficult for Donald Trump to walk away from. The other case, kind of maybe less serious. Paul Manafort, who was the campaign manager in the months leading up to the election, he was there kind of in a brief period, but the charges against him related to an earlier time, predating his association with Donald Trump. So I tell you what I thought was the most telling thing. Donald Trump lands in West Virginia, where he's got a rally tonight, and he comes over to the cameras because he knows there is intense interest at the courtroom drama that unfolded. He talks about Paul Manafort and says he feels sad for him, and when the question came about Michael Cohen, he had nothing to say. He didn't say a word. And I think that's because it is very much more difficult for the White House to spin what Michael Cohen has said compared to what's happened to Paul Manafort.
Yes, if we look at what Cohen was saying, the words are so damning, aren't they? For the principal purpose of influencing the election, that's pretty much a verbatim quote. Where does this leave the president?
Well, let me give you a flavour of what we're going to hear, because we've had a very brief statement from Rudy Giuliani, who is now the president's lawyer, the president's counsel, and he says there is no allegation of any wrongdoing against the president in the government's charges against Mr. Cohen. It is clear that, as the prosecutor noted, Mr. Cohen's actions reflect a pattern of lies and dishonesty over a significant period of time. So let's just kind of split that in two. It's true that there is no allegation of wrongdoing against the president in the government charges against Mr. Cohen. But, of course, Mr. Cohen's statement that if they are considered plausible could open up all sorts of inquiries about what the president knew and when about the payments to these 2 women, Karen McDougal, a former Playmate of the Year, and Stormy Daniels, a porn star actress, both of whom were paid off in the months before the election, both of whom alleged affairs with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump denied that. And so the statement from Giuliani is absolutely correct. There is no allegation of wrongdoing in the government's charges against Mr. Cohen. And what Rudy Giuliani is doing, as you would expect him to do, is to say, you know what, that Michael Cohen is an inveterate liar. We knew that all along. And so, you know, he's already been found guilty of dishonesty, so we shouldn't detain ourselves with this any longer. Well, we'll see. I think that it doesn't go away quite as easily as that.
Yes, the "we'll see" is the key phrase here. And isn't Mueller looking a singular, tenacious and fastidious character?
He is, and one of the things that they are looking at in relation to Michael Cohen is a claim that Donald Trump knew about a meeting in Trump Tower, the famous meeting with a Russian lawyer with very close links to the Kremlin, promising dirt on Hillary Clinton. Now, Donald Trump has repeatedly said he knew nothing about that meeting and nothing came of it. Well, Michael Cohen is saying otherwise. So that might be an area of investigation. You've also got the Senate committee saying, the Senate Intelligence Committee saying, we want to look at that now. So we'd like to talk to Michael Cohen about some of these other things. You know, Donald Trump is desperate to put this in his rear-view mirror. And every time he thinks he's got kind of broken away, it's like one of those kind of car chases that he thinks, oh, it's disappearing, I've got away from him. The car comes looming up in the background. And I think that this whole subject is not going away. What I would say in mitigation, we get very caught up. You and me, the media, get caught up by the dramas of what has unfolded, and it was spectacular. I mean, within 2 minutes, you had 2 separate federal courthouses delivering a verdict. But in West Virginia tonight, are people going to be more obsessed about what's happened in New York and what happened in Alexandria today in court, or are they going to be more motivated about the state of the economy, about the things that they believe Donald Trump is doing to help them and their livelihoods, the deregulation that is helping the economy, the tougher measures on immigration? It may be that this is just another one of those things where we all think, well, there's no escape from this one as the fire closes in around Donald Trump and the flames start licking at his feet. Or maybe he just walks scot-free once again.
Jon Sopel in Washington.